The two projected leaders at the running back position, replacing LaQuint Allen from a year ago, are sophomore Yasin Willis and redshirt senior Will Nixon. Barring injury or underperformance in fall camp, these two players are going to lead Syracuse's running back room. And we have discussed this before here on Locked On Syracuse, that I believe that Willis and Nixon complement each other really, really well. Willis is a big kid, 6'1", 225. He's someone that nobody wants to tackle, especially if you're a defensive back and he gets to the outside. I mean, you're a defensive back, maybe you're 6 foot, a $180, $190 on a good day. You want to tackle Yasin Willis in the open field? That's right. I didn't think so. He's a big power back for Syracuse football. And I'm hoping, and I'm sure many of you are hoping, he takes a big leap for this 2025 season, because he flashed a little bit as a true freshman, and getting on the field as a true freshman is an accomplishment in of itself. But we would all like to see just a little bit more from Yasin Willis this season. With the power back in Yasin Willis, you also have right behind him, or I guess right next to him rather, is Will Nixon. More experienced running back, someone that has played in a national championship game from Washington, also has a receiver background. He entered college over at Nebraska, so he's transferred twice in college as a receiver. He's a converted wide receiver, now running back. Did that when he was with Washington, though. But having said that, great pass catching running back, also very slippery as well. It's hard to tackle him just in a different way than Yasin Willis. I believe that those two complement each other really well. And I just can't see, as of right now, any other running back on Syracuse's roster taking one of the top two spots. So again, assuming they play well in fall camp, assuming that they are healthy to start the season, Yasin Willis and Will Nixon are your top two running backs for Syracuse football. And I honestly believe it could be pretty close to a 50-50 split. But comment your thoughts in the comments section below. Who do you think is going to get more carries? Who do you think is going to get more snaps in general between Yasin Willis and Will Nixon? And who do you believe could perhaps usurp those two players on the depth chart? I'd love your thoughts in the comments section below. Let's now move on to the projected number one outside wide receiver for Syracuse football, and that is Daryl Gill. And it's funny because Daryl Gill, even though I'm very high on him for this upcoming season, he does have a lot to prove. Last season, he played in 12 games, caught 31 passes, well over 500 yards, had a couple touchdowns as well. Maybe those numbers don't jump off the page immediately, but keep in mind, Daryl Gill last season was the fifth option on the offense. Not the fifth wide receiver, the fifth option overall. You had Aronde Gadsden. You had Trevor Pena. You had Jackson Meeks. You had LaQuint Allen. All getting more targets and touches in general than Daryl Gill. But Daryl Gill, especially later in the season, started carving out more of a role. He also led the ACC in yards per catch. I believe that he is going to have a big season. I see it's on the table that he is an all ACC player. In fact, I could see him even taking a leap and being first team all ACC. I think that is certainly on the table for a guy like Daryl Gill. And I believe he is going to be the number one outside wide receiver for Syracuse football. But there are a couple more reasons beyond just him. It's also his competition that he is facing to be the number one outside wide receiver for Syracuse. There's also a guy in Justice Ross Simmons, who I believe could have a big bounce back season for Syracuse football. And a lot of you, I noticed in the comments, believe that he could have a big season as well, which, hey, more weapons for Syracuse, the better. But keep in mind last season, yes, I know Justice Ross Simmons dealt with injuries. I understand it wasn't exactly fair to him. I get it. But keep in mind that he did get healthier towards midseason and towards the end of the season, but Daryl Gill outproduced him. So as of right now, I think Daryl Gill's better than Justice Ross Simmons. And then there's also Jonte Cook. The Texas and Washington transfer that Syracuse brought in this offseason looks like he's having a great fall camp. But it also looks like that Syracuse is going to use him in the slot. So when I say Daryl Gill pretty much safe as the number one outside wide receiver, Jonte Cook is not necessarily his competition, because if Syracuse is saying Jonte Cook is going to be the slot receiver, well, the two of them are not competing against each other. Jonte Cook is just simply the starting slot guy replacing Trevor Pena. But hey, comment in the comment section below. Do you believe that Daryl Gill will end up being the team's number one outside wide receiver like myself? I love your thoughts in the comment section below. Now let's get to the offensive line. I believe there's only one player on this offensive line right now that seems like he's pretty safe to be a starter. And that is Louisville transfer Austin Collins. And he will probably be the team's starting center. For those that don't know, Austin Collins, he was a guard last year at Louisville. He started 7 games for them. And hey, Louisville is a good team. He started 7 games for that good Louisville team in the ACC. If he could start at Louisville, he can probably start at Syracuse. And I'm not saying that to take a dig at Syracuse. I'm just saying if you could start for another good team in the ACC, you can start at Syracuse as well. He did not allow a sack last season in over 300 pass block attempts. He is actually one of the better pass blocking offensive linemen in the country, but it's countered by the fact that he's not exactly a good run blocker. But hey, at least he's really good in one of the two. He's really good in pass protection, which, hey, Syracuse likes to throw the ball a lot. That's kind of helpful for a team like Syracuse. Austin Collins also has experience playing center. And unfortunately for the Orange, it looked like they were going to use Mark Petrie as their starting center, but he's out for the season with a knee injury. So now if you're looking at Syracuse on their offensive line, well, who's going to be their center? It's probably going to be Austin Collins. And if it's not Collins, at the very least, he is at least going to start along this offensive line.